Hi, I'm here with Brian Gomez from Konami, and we're looking at Silent Hill Downpour, the latest in the Silent Hill gaming series. So, Brian, what can you tell us that's different that's going to separate this Silent Hill from the others?
Oh, there's a lot of things. First of all, this is going to be probably the largest incarnation you've ever seen of Silent Hill in any of the previous 7 games. So, at last tally, we had about 5 times this, basically the surface area, or like the square mileage basically of the town. If you took all the previous Silent Hill games and took all of the Silent Hill area together, we're about 5 times larger. So it's a huge area to explore. Lots of the doors, open, so these aren't just facades. They're actually buildings you can go in, and if you take the time and you thoroughly explore the town, you will find tons of little hidden lore objects that we have hidden around that kind of build on Murphy's backstory and on the town's backstory. There's a lot of little things we planted just for the fans, for like the really eagle-eyed fans that know the whole lore and the whole history of the town. We put in little things just for those guys. And there's side quests. Side quests is like probably the newest, biggest thing to the Silent Hill series. So we have over a dozen side quests that the player can kind of stumble upon, and it's not like there's anything in the interface that goes, hey, you found a side quest. It's really organic. So Murphy can just be exploring. He can come across an old bank or a deserted movie theater, and strange things start happening, and the next thing you know, you're on a little mini adventure within the Silent Hill world. And that was a cool thing for us to add, because what it allowed us to do was it was like we were able to treat it like its own little horror anthology, where if there was a smaller story that we wanted to tell that wasn't really part of Murphy's story, we could still get that in.
Now, I know a lot of fans said that the combat in Silent Hill Homecoming was a bit too easy because Alex was a trained military person, or so he thought. But now, how's the combat system in this one? Is it any different, or is it still kind of the same?
Oh no, it's quite different from Homecoming. I mean, Homecoming, you have to applaud Konami for trying new things, right? It was a survival horror game, and they went with. Yeah, I mean, it was a good game, and there was a lot of fans that actually really liked it, but there was also a portion of the fans out there that felt that he was too empowered, he was just a little bit too much of a badass, and you lost the feeling of being vulnerable, because that's what survival horror is about. It's about being disempowered and being preyed upon, really. So we wanted to kind of do best of both worlds. What we wanted to do is we wanted to create a character that was capable of fighting back. So there's improvised weapons, you can pick things up, you can fight with broken bottles, chairs, fire extinguishers, crowbars, anything in the environment you see that looks like you should be able to pick it up, you can pick it up and fight with it. But when you handle Murphy, I think you'll very quickly tell, he's not Solid Snake, he's not a fighting game guy, he's not a brawler, he's not a trained soldier. He's clumsy, he's panicked, he's scared, and it totally comes through in the way he feels and handles.
Now, what can you tell us about the rain element, hence the title?
The Downpour, yeah. So water plays a really big symbolic element in our game. Water is, it's one of these elements that it transcends cultural lines, right? So lots of cultures around the world have mythology about story. It has a lot of heavy symbolism about rebirth, cleansing, but it's also got a duality thing. It can be dangerous, it can destroy cities, as we've seen. So water's got this duality thing, which Murphy definitely has as a character. He's an escaped convict, so we know that he doesn't have like a perfect past. He's got some shady sides to him, and we thought that was a good symbol for him. So basically what happens in the game is the longer you spend outside in the town wandering around, the weather starts changing dynamically, and the worse the weather gets, the heavier the downpour becomes, the more bad things starts happening to Murphy, until you basically find yourself thrown into the other world.
Kind of reminds me of the Silent Hill 2 with James Sunderland, or not James Sunderland, was it?
James, yeah.
And how he kind of had a disturbed past. Even though he's a bad guy, he did something that's completely like irredeemable. He just had to kind of come to terms with it. And one last thing, I recently heard that Silent Hill 2 and 3 were being remixed in HD. Yeah. Now, is it going to be straight remixes, or are we going to see anything different as far as like gameplay or some side quests or anything different about it?
I wouldn't be qualified to answer that, because I'm absolutely dedicated to the Downpour team. I'm actually the design director of Vatra, who's the developer over in the Czech Republic. So you'd have to track down one of the Konami producers and ask them.
Okay, gotcha. Thought I'd try a shot.
No problem.
Well, thank you so much, Brian, for all your time. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, guys. Enjoy the show.
Thank you.